The S&P 500 has mimicked the 2008 crash ever since January, and that's had a significant impact on the crypto market, and if it continues, it means that we haven't seen the bottom just yet. Hey everyone, hope you're doing well. Justin Bennett here. In today's video, I'm going to show you how the S&P 500 has been following the 2008 crash almost to a T. Every single swing is nearly identical. I'll also explain how that could indicate that we are near a top for the crypto market and also what implications it could have over the longer term. So first and foremost, let's take a look at how this impacts the crypto market. So ever since the start of 2022, the S&P 500 has been very correlated with Bitcoin. So we have seen these two assets move together during this entire period, even during this latest relief rally. However, what you're going to note here is that the stock market has rallied considerably more than what Bitcoin has done. So Bitcoin is down here in orange, the S&P 500 is here in blue, and you can see how the S&P 500 has so far outpaced Bitcoin during this relief rally, especially compared to how the two have been correlated over the past 8 months. Now, this is going to be significant because if we do see the stock market start to roll over in the coming days, this is going to impact the crypto market because what's happening right now is that crypto is not really following stocks higher, at least not to the extent that we see the S&P 500 rallying. However, the crypto market does follow stocks to the downside. The issue is that the crypto market tends to do about 2 to 2.5 times whatever the stock market does. So in other words, if we see the stock market, the S&P 500 pull back 10%, we're likely to see Bitcoin pull back 20%, if not a little bit more. So this relative weakness that we've seen from the crypto market compared to stocks is going to be something to keep an eye on. So now that we know that the S&P 500 and the crypto market are still correlated, so this does matter for Bitcoin and the rest of the crypto market, let's go ahead and take a look at the S&P 500 and compare the current price action to the 2008 crash. So here we have the current price action for the S&P 500 on the left and the 2008 crash, at least the beginning of that crash, on the right. And you can see how ever since the start of 2022, the S&P 500 has been pulling back, making lower highs and lower lows. And we saw something very similar during the first part of the 2008 crash as well. In fact, if you line these highs up, you can see that each one of them so far has lined up perfectly. Now, the thing to notice here is how the current swing high matches up with that swing high during the first part of the 2008 crash. So if this correlation continues, we could see the S&P 500 do something very similar to what it did last time, which is pull back down toward the recent lows. And speaking of those lows, you can even see how the recent low for the S&P 500 also matches up with that first part of the 2008 crash. So this right now is a bit worrisome, not just for the stock market, but also for the crypto market, because as I showed earlier, the crypto market right now is following the S&P 500, especially to the downside. When we get those risk-off periods, the crypto market really starts to outpace the stock market. Now, I want to be clear and say that this is not a guarantee for a move lower. Just because the S&P 500 has followed the 2008 crash up until now, it does not mean that it is guaranteed to continue. However, with that said, once again, it is a bit worrisome if you are just looking at these two markets and comparing the two and looking at how they have topped out at exactly the same time ever since January. Now, another striking thing about these charts is the fact that the current swing high that we're seeing for the S&P 500 occurred approximately 160 days after the all-time high, which is also nearly identical to what we saw during the first part of the 2008 crash. So once again, not a guarantee for what's coming, but it is very, very striking nonetheless. So what does all this mean for the stock market and the crypto market over the coming months? Is the bottom in? Is it not in? What does this comparison suggest? So if we assume that this is going to continue to play out, although like I said before, it's not a guarantee for it to continue, but if we were to see this continue to play out, this is when things get really dicey. And some of you are going to love this for a buying opportunity. Others of you who are holding positions are going to hate this. But the fact of the matter is, if this were to continue, and again, that's a big if, but if this were to continue to play out, then we could be looking at the S&P 500 continuing lower until sometime in the middle of next year, potentially all the way down to the 1600 area. And again, this is only if it continues to follow the 2008 crash. Now, I'm sure I lost some people on that one because I know it seems a little bit crazy for the market to crash that much, but just keep in mind too, that that would represent a 67% decline for the S&P 500. In 2000, we saw the S&P 500 pull back 50%, and in 2008, we saw it pull back 57%. So really to talk about a 67% drop from the market really isn't all that crazy in terms of the recessions that we've seen over the past 20 plus years. Now, I know what you may be thinking, just because it did this last time doesn't mean it's going to happen again. And I completely agree with you. I am not saying that this is guaranteed to happen. However, I do think that the similarities here are striking and are at least worth paying attention to. Now, you may also be thinking, yeah, but Justin, the Fed is going to step in and save the market just like they have before, but not so fast, because right now we have a completely different set of circumstances that is going to prevent the Fed from stepping in like they have before. before. Now, I'm not going to talk about that in today's video, but I'll be sure to put out another video on that topic covering all of the details, maybe this week. So be sure to subscribe to the channel and click the bell icon so that you don't miss that video. So here's what this boils down to for the S&P 500 and crypto for that matter. So right now we have a relief rally from the S&P 500. If it were to close below 4,200, that could start to reverse this trend and line it up with the 2008 crash that we just looked at. And if that were to happen from the recent high or close to it, that would further confirm that the S&P 500 continues to follow that 2008 crash scenario. And the more that scenario continues to play out, the more likely it is that we have not seen a bottom for the stock market or for crypto. So be sure to keep all of this in mind as you try to navigate these crazy markets. As always, have a wonderful rest of your day. Smash the like button, subscribe to the channel, and don't forget to claim your $4,000 in bonuses from Bybit and also your 12 free stocks from Webull. You can find those links below. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you back here every day, Monday through Friday. Until then, take care.